one of the most. It's the only podcast I listen to on a repeat. I have not gone to a repeat podcast content. And Prashant is a very good friend, and he's also the general manager of sales readiness at Tata Communications. Okay, and he has been a learning enthusiast, and he's been in the field of learning for quite some time. And he'll take us through the journey over here. I'll let him speak about it. I won't say much. But looking forward to this session and learning the way he does. Maybe we can take away some things in terms of our learning and organizational as well. I think we have a top management also in the call, so I'm sure that they'll also learn quite a lot of things at the end of the session. But I'm not going through a very formal introduction to Prashant because the speaker profile has been shared quite often by the team, and I'm pretty sure they're already aware of what your work is, Prashant. But it's a pleasure having you today, and I'm really obliged that you gave us your time, and that too on a weekday, to come and speak to us. Thank you for coming, and I'll hand it over to you to take over the session.
Super. Thank you, Stephen, and it's real pleasure. Little fact about Stephen is that I have seen him grow, and quite literally. What I mean by that is when I was in school and college, that's when I met Stephen. I'm not sure if you know his other name, but that's what I'm usually that's what I'm comfortable calling him. But let's not get there today, at least. But that's how our engagement has been for quite some time. And cut to, we just met recently and realized there are lots to pick from where we are. So thanks. You've kept my introduction. It just sounds like I'm too old. I am. It's just Santoor, which is making me look better. And some video effects if there are. So the way it works is I love acknowledgements. I love people saying things to me. And during the entire course of where we are together, I don't call it a session. I don't call it a training. It is just me talking about me. I'm egoistic that way, but not really. You'll notice what I mean by that. It's just my take on relearning in general. So the best way I can do it is talk about me, because I don't know much about outside world, honestly. I can just read about it and I can emulate the facts. So that's typically what I go with. So far, I've just heard some voices, right? What I want you to do is, everybody is used to Google Hangouts, right? Yes, no. So the response,
right.
Yes. There you go. Exactly. That's what I want. I either want you to unmute yourself, and now we are 73, so it could be a little chaotic. So let's use the chat option. I'm okay using the chat option. So let me just do a test question. Go to the first slide. And I always wanted to start a session with this. क्या तुमने कभी किसी से प्यार किया? So just use the chat option, yes, no, and I'll know that you are there. There you go. Thank you. Kia. There you go. Fantastic. You know the song, right? By the way, I have asked this to a rickshaw driver also when he was taking it into the potholes, and he said no. So yeah, thank you. Right. So there you go. Thank you. So I know that your chat option is working. Fantastic. XD. What is XD, Adarsh? I don't know.
Oh, that means I'm laughing.
Oh, see, I need to learn that.
The pothole things.
Oh yeah. So I asked him, क्या तुमने कभी किसी से प्यार किया? Rickshaw said no. क्या तुमने? And he took another pothole. क्या तुमने कभी किसी को दिल दिया? And he gave me a look, and then my stop came. So anyway, but let's keep that for something. All right, cool. बहुत बार, amazing. Good responses. Let's go to the next one, and I really want answers on this. Which is your favorite podcast? If you listen to podcasts, which is your favorite podcast? If you don't listen to podcasts, tell me that you don't listen to podcasts. Hey, Musafir is a good podcast. Joe Rogan, you have time. Seen Unseen, very nice. Joe Rogan, very nice. Good choice. Joe Rogan, by the way, is a long podcast. That means there is a start time, there is no end time to it. So that is interesting. Okay, so you've never heard of podcasts. Very good. 21 Yards is amazing. Angular Show is good. Advertising is dead. Okay, very nice. Mrityunjay, Zakir Khan's, very nice. Good choices, good choices. Those who are there, I have not heard that one. The Herberman Lab, not checked. History of India is amazing. Pragati is amazing. Very nice. And I'm thankful that you're sharing that you listen to some podcast. There was a recent post that the number of podcasts is more than the number of listeners. It's funny, but I'm just worried that it could be true. So there are many podcasts there. Podcast, in simple terms, for me, is nothing but radio at your own time. Okay, so that's typically podcast. One alert that I have for you: I am definitely in a room which is more comfortable, and I also have my 4.5-year-old dog who sleeps, so he will not disturb the session, but he snores. So if you get any snoring, it's definitely not for me. Okay, I have not learned the art yet to have people and I'm snoring. Talk to people and I'm snoring. So it's definitely him. Okay, and let me assure you that he's there. I can show you by the end of the session or something. Okay, so I know about your favorite podcast. Let's go to the next question, which is important for me personally. Where do you listen to your podcast? Spotify, very good. They are big into investment in podcasting in general. Gaana is interesting. Gaana, YouTube, yeah, there you go. Fair enough. Fair, Gaana, Spotify and YouTube. The reason I'm asking is very selfish because I just put out an episode today, by the way, and it just helps me what should I include in terms of IVM podcast app. Very good, Shardul. IVM, by the way, is one of India's oldest podcasting agency, and they have huge network. I know Amit personally as well, and great fan of that company itself. Gaana. So that's the thing, right? India is still evolving in the zone of podcasting as such. So we're still getting there. Why I'm saying evolving? Because all these apps, most of them are music apps. They are not meant for podcasts. Podcast apps are a little different, slightly different. And why is it different? How is it different? You don't need to worry because as far as you're getting your episode, right? Example, YouTube is actually a video app, not an audio app. But surprisingly, when I do my numbers, the top site is Spotify for me and the next one is YouTube. It's very interesting. So it's changing the way we consume content. But you know what? It's absolutely okay where you listen to it because as far as you're listening to it. So it doesn't matter, right? Let's go ahead. But I just want to check. So I've got the information. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this is my podcast. So the Relearning podcast. There was an interesting survey that Stephen did on what is relearning. I was amazed that almost everyone had the right answer, which is amazing because, but by the way, the word is also very simple, right? Something that you relearn, something that you have learned some time back and you want to learn it again. And that was the thought of my podcast as well. That was a thought that I started thinking about a podcast. The influence for my podcast are actually two, and I'm not shy to say this. When I was growing up, which was the 90s, of course, there was a huge, our pop culture was Channel V, MTV, and very interesting take on when Radio Mirchi came about. Because those were not typical All India radios. They were very jazzy, very upbeat, young sounding guys at least, talking about something which is very interesting, or at least making it interesting. And that's when that's the influence that I had in terms of podcasting or being on the radio as such. So honestly, I'm not sure who can relate to this, that we definitely wanted to be the VJs on the TV or the RJs on the radio because those are the new professions that came about. Now, of course, that has changed a lot, but that was my influence. So go to the next slide. So Stephen definitely said a lot about me in terms of the kind of experience I have. But if I have to describe me in small little word, I like describing myself as a curious learner. It's short, it's easy. Most important, it doesn't have the baggage of my 20 years of experience. Whenever I say 20 years of experience, I literally go down in my shoulders because there's lots that, but I literally don't know that how did these 20 years go by. Reason is, thankfully, by God's grace, I always knew what I want to do, and I knew that what I don't want to do. Most important. So, as easy as it may sound, I always knew that I like enabling people. That means I like coaching, I like training and development, I like learning in general as such, and things happen in a way where I know I could use this in my profession as well. So literally, what I do for living is something that I really want to do. So in many words, it could also be called as passion. But again, that's a misused word a lot. So let's not go by titling or labeling it something. So I like myself calling as a curious learner, which also means that it could be a little irritating, or people might call me stupid and idiot. I'm absolutely okay with that, because things that fascinate me, things that interest me, I like asking a lot. Why? I simply think that if I'm getting that information, am I able to reciprocate or explain the same thing to someone else? If I'm able to do that, then I'm fine with it. Okay, so this is the habit that I have. I'm sure you will say, "Arey, it's amazing," and that's how it should be. You should definitely meet my wife. She may or may not like it, so it could be very differently taken at respective homes. But that's how I am. I don't know any other way to be, right? So I call myself as a curious learner. What I'm curious about could be very different than what you are curious about. Example, I'm extremely curious about learning concepts. I'm extremely curious about methodologies, behaviors, mind, brain, how it works. Extremely curious at the side. So that's why I call myself as a curious learner. And let's go next. If you know this, and I know all these phones, or at least most of them, the screen is growing, and the keypad is really going down. So the point is, every time you change the phone, do you remember your first phone, by the way? When if you do, just in the right chat option, right? Which one was it? Nokia 1100. Okay, 1600. I used to use a 8800, which was like that slider thing, and amazing. It felt like you've done some job, and you flip it. Yeah, but there you go. Amazing. Great responses. So, to cut to what you're using now, and I'm sure you have used many phones. If not many phones, you use a lot of technology. And talking about technology, you know it better than me. That technology evolves every second. It's evolving even now, right? Now, every time you changed a phone, or every time you changed to a technology, there were things that you had learned. You unlearn those things, which means some things which are not important. You simply get away with that, and you move to the next thing. You have no clue. You have already learned the art of unlearning and relearning. I still remember that. It's funny, and also not, that if you're having a conversation with me, I could be simply typing on my Nokia phone and sending a message and still trying to be engaged with you. And it's fascinating to me, at least that time, but definitely the conversation would have gone to, I don't know where. But that was possible. But now I cannot think of it. I cannot think of doing something on the phone and talking to someone. But some of them still try to do this. But I'll come to an episode actually, which definitely deals with this. But our minds know how to unlearn and go back to basics and learn something and adapt something new which is making life easier. So basically, what I mean is, you have a talent to unlearn and relearn on your own. You don't need to do anything additional for it. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Yeah, there you go. You have an inborn talent to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Relearn is simply going back to basics. Relearn is something to do with what really means. What is the actual ABC of this? It's like reading a book again. And if you read your favorite book again, every time you read it, there'll be a different message that you will get, right? And that's the power of going back to basics. That's the power of going back to the ABCs, right? Let's go to the next one. Do you remember where is this from?
Yes, it's from IRO website. About us page, I think.
Okay, very interesting. Good answer. It is from the website. What fascinates me from this one about us is the journey of experiments. Failures is what fascinates me. It's huge. If it's in your about us side that you embrace failures, that means you embrace curiosity. That means you embrace trying things, which means you embrace relearning, which means failures is the baseline for your experiments and innovation, and that's beautiful, right? Very few organizations have such approach. Even I'm talking about larger organizations. You will always hear big names like Google, Microsoft, and 3M, who literally don't let an idea die, because they have labs where if you you'll get resources. If you have an idea, test it out. It may not work, that's fine, but if it works, it will do wonders. That is amazing that you have it in your about us, and confident talking to Stephen and Anupam as well, that you would have inculcated in this your culture and the DNA. That there you go. Thanks Nikita, Priyanka, for agreeing to this. But it's something that I personally feel very strong about. So I have done learning and development for the longest time. The way I had learned learning and development was more around being perfect. And only little later that I realized, actually it's not. It's literally about making the foundation very strong, which means there will be many failures and attempts that you need to do. And even today, when I create a strategy for learning, I ensure before anything, there should be a test bed, or should be something where people are comfortable failing. So the theory is fail and fail fast, so that we pick up and let's do experiments and innovations. So it's amazing. Compliments to the entire IORO team that you embrace this, and I'm confident that you'll do amazing and great. In fact, you've done over the last year, as I was going through a lot of success stories. I mean, amazing. So let's go to the next one. This is my the origin story. This is like I mentioned, my dog. He's called Muffin, 4.5 years. And even my another dog, which is my daughter, she is also 4.5 years. They're quite similar. They might look a little different, but honestly, if I have to take sides, I'll always take Muffin's side. He's the best one and the notorious one you can always see in this video. Play the video if you can. So, by the way, this is exactly 1 year back, okay? This is 21st of April that I shot this video. And so obviously this was in pandemic. So, I told you that, I was in the thought of podcasting for quite some time. I knew that I had to do something around 3 things. Breaking myths, back to basics, and something around learning. I knew this. What I didn't know is how do I go about it, right? In fact, 2 years back, I had done some episodes in a studio and a lot of technical things that I did, but it never saw the light of the day. And I always had that podcasting is a conversation with someone like a guest or an expert. Cut to the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, everyone was forced to work from home, and this is not new to everyone. And then I was thinking, how is this happening now? And while teaching basketball to my daughter, so I played basketball for the longest time, and again, that's the connection that Stephen and me have. And I was teaching her, then I realized that teaching her made me go back to my initial days of basketball, which is playing. What are the right rules? What are the right things to do? What is self-learning while playing as well? Like, we just improvised at home that we kept a laundry bag, and by the way, we do this even today. And there's a ball, and Miraya, my daughter, is throwing it in the basket, and she loves doing it. We also, if you see me on social media, I have posted some videos on the court as well. So we try to do that. So first was I had the thought. Pandemic really pushed me to create something which is in a conducive environment like home, right? And that's where the original thought came from. While playing with basketball with my daughter, I was trying to teach her. I was trying to do something. I was trying to tell her, and then I realized I'm just going back to basics. And whenever you go back to basics, you learn about your basics. So it was very easy for me to just go back, read more about the recent laws, the rules, and see some more how to teach kids as well. And that's how the podcast thought also came about. In fact, while during this time only, April or May, when and I'm sure pandemic, everyone goes does the dishes and sleeps, right? So basically you're tired. And I was tired. I was just about to hit the bed. I hit the bed, and just before getting into the deep sleep, I had the entire thought of how the podcast should be, with the title, that is a relearning podcast. So the very moment I did something which I normally don't do, that is, I first checked, is this social media handle available? So I was first checking Relearning Podcast. Then I realized Relearning Podcast is already taken by someone. It was a small little podcast much before. So that's why I added the word the. So the Relearning Podcast I checked. It was available on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So that very moment at that night when I had this thought, I blocked these handles and I just went about it. The next day morning, of course, I wrote the entire thing of how I really want to go about it. I knew nothing about doing a podcast, by the way. I knew only that, there is a medium, you record and you get it out. What I didn't know is the curation of things, is validation of audience, who all, then how do you create the creative, how do you edit, what is the right way of doing it. I didn't know. Of course, I had an ear for podcasts because I listened to a lot of podcasts, but I didn't know this part. But I knew that I wanted to do this, and that's typically the origin stories. I just want to take a pause, and like I said, I can just go on, but I want to check if you're with me so far, and any questions, any comments that you have for me at the moment.
And this feels like a test question, did you understand everything I told you, and so forth. But good point, Prashant. There's one good takeaway: ask so you can explain. That's a good way to understand stuff, right? So,
yeah.
Good way.
Anupam is very kind. He's saying no comments. We're listening very closely. So that's satisfying me as well. And that no, please keep going. So thanks, Anupam. Okay, no questions. Getting interesting. No, very interesting. Thank you, ladies. Okay, thank you. Okay. Fair enough. Let's go on, because I'll tell you more about. So thanks for correcting that. We are all ear and ears. I'll talk about that also. Let me just talk about that. Let's go to the next one. There's my daughter. So kitchen and soul, and I love this. I just love this. I know it's just 2 words. So I told you, right, that I am into a profession which I really love. I know about myself that I like enabling people. I started very early, by the way, in my career, and that's why 20 years of experience. Very early on, I realized this is my profession. At the same time, even today, when I say that, if my company doesn't pay me, this is what I will do anyway. So basically, payment is a bonus that I get. I'm really driven by training and development, coaching and enablement. That definitely pays my bill. But the pandemic really forced me, even if it was Anupam, Stephen, your heads, to everyone who's coming to the office knew that we have to take care of the home also. We may have ignored it, or we don't know how to do things. In fact, I have cooked some amazing dishes, at least as per me. And everybody in my home is alive, which means they were edible. But when we were working, when we had an office to go, we knew that after office hours, however late it becomes, we have a place to go, which was home, right? And if you have someone whom you love, which is your daughter, dog for me, and your wife, your mother-in-law, everyone, or your family, your partner, they will embrace you, or at least there will be something that you had a place to go. Now it isn't. Now you just have a room to go and get out, or you move with the laptop and figure out life. That is the thing that pays your bill. Now there are no lines. And trust me, the soul part is something that you definitely need. So even though I love what I do, it is still work, and I had to do the other things in the house. I'm not complaining here, because thankfully my wife doesn't listen to my podcast. How much can she listen to me? However, uh, there at the end of so basically I work on the podcast after 10:30 in the night. So everything that you hear is everything is recorded at the end of the day. But trust me, after doing office work and all the chores at home, I am at my brightest when I'm working on the podcast. In fact, that is one thing that I look forward to during the entire day. That is one thing that goes on my mind, that how do I go about this? What are some right things to do? If I'm thinking about an example, I'm thinking for the next topic, what are some things? Whom do I call? Whom do I reach out to validate? All those things go on, and I'm very happy when I'm working on it. In fact, that is the time I glow, right? So how much ever time or tired I am, I'm the most energetic when I'm working on the podcast, and I call it the me time. I call it the things that I do for soul. So even if you're doing what you like, even if you're doing what you appreciate and you worked so hard, ensure you take some time out to do things for your soul, which is your me time. Ensure you do things that make you joyous, not happy. Joyous means you really feel it. Joyous I cannot explain. Happy is getting things which is you acquire. You get a new car, you are happy. You acquire things and that can make you happy. That comes with money, right? Which is good, not bad at all. Joyous is you feel it. You feel amazing when you see a cat video. You feel joyous. When you see your little kid, you feel joyous. When you play with your kid, joyous. Play with a pet, joyous. These are the things that I'm talking about. Things, travel, there you go. Yeah. These are soul-stirring things. Music, by the way, I listen to a lot of music while doing Bartan, right? Utensils, music podcast, because that keeps me dancing and cooking as well sometimes. So these are things that stir your soul. So find something which is not only for paying your bills, but also that stir that joyousness in you and you are happy doing it, right? Ensure all that you do for your soul is also legal wherever you are. Okay, so things you do for the kitchen and things I do for soul, even if it's crossing, have your me time. That's the message I really want to pass on. And trust me, when I say last year, when I was talking about pandemic, I come from an organization which is into telecom and technology, and that is one thing that thrived during pandemic. So I was super swamped with work, and again, that's not a complaint. I'm more than happy, but I definitely needed something to let my thoughts come out, and that's the relearning podcast, right? So that's something that I want to share with you on the kitchen and soul slide. So that's why only 2 words, but it means a lot to me. That's been my backbone for quite some time, and I always go back to this: do things you do for kitchen, things you do for soul. Definitely don't do things which you do for soul during the time when you do for kitchen, because that combination is deadly and it may not pay your bills. So ensure you have that kitchen story going. Only if the kitchen is on, when your tummy is happy, then you can enjoy many things. So have that balance appropriately. Let's go to the next one. Now that I have spoken about kitchen and soul, I want you to take next 10 to 15 seconds. You may use a chat option to write it, or if you don't have the chat option, I'm okay. In fact, if it's something very personal, keep it to yourself. What have you relearned about yourself? If you're comfortable sharing, share it on the chat. If you're not comfortable sharing, I respect that, but make sure you write it on a notepad, or if you have something to write it, and don't write only points. Example, music. I just write the music. Don't write the entire thing. Example, I like listening to George Kenny, or write the Arijit Singh and this song specifically. I'd never realized about myself. Write the entire sentence. That's what I mean, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Don't write PowerPoint bullets. Write the entire sentence. Nice. reacting to the situations and controlling. Govind, thank you. Stephen, I learned that you can get out of uncomfortable situations. Stephen, I know you too much. I'll not reveal much, but I definitely know that you've sailed through that. Adarsh, classical music is what I want to learn. Nice. I like clicking and manual settings in DSLR. You're my friend. I like playing that with that too. I relearned about playing guitar, which I left 4 years back. Now I'm playing, and now I'm enjoying. So Stephen would know that we have Stephen's relative. His name is actually Joy, and he was teaching me guitar sometime back. I was in, I think, way back. And the first question I asked is, how do I learn this, and how do I teach it to my nephew? And he literally gave me how do I go about it. And that's the thing I was talking about, curiosity, right? I tried clicking the manual setting, relearned guitar. I have relearned to socialize without moving out of home. Interesting. I respect this. This is amazing, right? I never knew that I had in me to cook soups, and amazing soups, and pav bhaji. As simple as that, right? We learned observing things. Nice, Anupam. Observe as a third person, even better. So, like I said, I can just comment on this, but this is something that is very personal for you. Keep that relearning spark. Keep that spark of going back to basics. It's extremely important. And that's why when you start in a kitchen, when you are a chef or kitchen, and everybody knows this, the basics you start with is chopping or the preparation for it, right? And that's the analogy I always like. I love analogies which are related to food, by the way. And looking at me, you can guess. You always start with the basics, and if the basics are right, everything turns out to be well. And the basics are even slightly off, you know it. You definitely know it, right? So, Nikita, thanks for sharing that. You're trying to be more sort of extrovert and socializing. Fair enough. Work in progress. Amazing. And I'm thankful that you are comfortable sharing it. I'm so glad that you are sharing it, because that's the quotient that matters the most, honestly. And Anupam, Stephen, you can vouch for this. It's always people. It's always about people and behavior and skills. Yes, definitely there's a merit in terms of the education and what you can do in job. But if you are that horse which your leaders can vouch on, then it's sorted, right? So thanks for sharing, on the chat. I'm so glad that you did. Relearn to follow healthy and active lifestyle. This many of them, many of my friends have also done, and they're keeping at it. Most important than being a couch potato. Fair enough. And being a couch potato is also not bad, by the way, guys. So I'm not, because I want to, but I don't have that as a priority. All right, cool. Let's go. I'm so overwhelmed with the responses actually. Let's go to the next one. Oh, Nipun has a very long answer. Relearning about what is really necessary. Nice. Roti kapda. Actually, you know what? Survival, right? Survival instincts. Absolutely right. There's an example. We just went out and splurged some money in the mall for the things we don't even wear anymore. You know what I mean? Right? The first question I asked Stephen is, if I'm coming to your office for this session, are shorts okay? Because that's been my dream, to go to work in shorts. And all the trousers and the shoes are just lying there, except for my basketball shoes, for the entire year. And exactly survival questions that we are asking. There you go. So you're questioning about yourself about that. Fantastic. That's seriously great. All right, let's go to the next slide. I'm glad you're sharing this. Learn to keep my kid busy without TV. I need to learn that. True. Very small things we actually require. Very happy. All right. Thank you. All right. So what you see here on the screen is some of the people whom I have interviewed. And by the way, I choose my audience. One thing, let me just make sure. I don't make money with podcast, okay? And that's never my intent. If it comes, I love money. I'll welcome it. But this was, like I said, it was my outlet to do things. So when I reached out to these guys whom I look up to, they were more than happy to do it, and that gave me a good confidence. In fact, I'll share this lady whose background is blue, right? Sheetal Kakkar. I knew her from Vodafone, my previous organization, and she was more than happy to do the first episode. Imagine the trust that she had with me. Thankfully, I had kept in touch, and we could do. And she's amazing. She's an executive presence coach, and she was more than eager to share her stories. So that was the first ever episode. Then being in the Tata Group, the gentleman on the left, Emmanuel David, he was more than happy to do this because he liked what I do, and breaking again second episode, and who would imagine? So after that, of course, I wouldn't say use the word credibility, but I had little experience about how about approaching. So I never shied away from asking. There are few, by the way, who said no, not the time, or don't have the time for it. Example, okay, let's not give examples because they have promised that they will, and I really respect that. Because when I get a guest, of course they also know that there is no money involved and they're just able to spend that time, and that's the biggest happiness that I have. Right? Then I chose to reach out to May, if you know May Mariam Thomas or May Thomas. I chose to reach out to Utsav Memoria. Someone said someone likes real advertising is dead. I reached out to Varun Dugirala. These are my favorite podcasters, right? And these podcasters are someone that I like listening to. And I said I'm doing something like this. They were more than happy to jump in. How brain works. How Brain Learns, that is by Dr. Colin Lightbody. She's the one who trained me for coaching and got the certification for me as well. Then Neeraj here is a friend and a senior in L&D. He had some crazy ideas that we got out. Then I recently learned about the Fitter app. Jitendra Choksi is there, who himself learns and relearns so much. There's so much to learn from him itself. Then CHRO of Tata Communication, who won so many awards. Then luckily I know Captain Achilles Saxena, who's a Kargil war hero, and it was amazing to chat with him. Right. Then some LinkedIn influencers like Dharmendra Rai, who's learned from Tony Vizan himself on how to really use mind maps. Someone like Amit Nagpal, again a holistic leadership enabler. So crazy amount of people, and there are many, by the way, in my list. Okay, then Neha herself reached out in terms of to do some episode on mine, and it was very encouraging for me to do episode with guests. But now you'll notice I have stopped doing guest episodes. After the feedback from a very dear friend, again, actually, Amit Doshi from IVM podcast, that, in general, these guests are great, but reduce that and get more of your stuff, which I felt is a good advice, because I also realize in terms of numbers and in terms of what I have my thoughts on should also be out there. So all these guests by the way, do check out all these episodes, because these are this is gold for me, and getting an agreement for them to do it was itself was a big reward. Then what I did are some more episodes. I initially called them shorty, then it became the way of life. So let's go to the next slide. I'll talk about it, and you'll also see a legend in there. I hope it's legible. If it's not, it's okay. So I did around so many episodes. By the way, I was just talking to Saurabh at the beginning that today I have released another episode on how to simplify. Okay. It's something that was suggested by a friend, and it's right there. So I have bucketed the topics that I chose in 4 parts, right? And starting from simplify and origins. So Happy New Year, Jingle Bells, and take an action this Women's Day. What topics that fascinate me? By the way, take an action this Women's Day is the only episode where I'm not smiling. And you'll listen to the episode because it talks more about what's not going so well for women in general. And so it's a very heartfelt, because you'll not hear me smile. Rest everything I have the smile on. Like I said, I don't know any other way. One of my top rated and top listened episode is actually Jingle Bells. And it's a surprise for me. I don't know how it has worked. It has so many facts which are not so normal, which are not so common. That's why maybe. Yeah. So these are the origin episodes. back to basics, which is again my favorite thing to do, is today's episode, which is how to simplify. That is how really you simplify. The difference between a teacher, trainer, and a facilitator. This has been interesting because this hits home, right? My profession. And then email etiquette. So most of the things that I speak about are also some articles which I've written many years back. So that's also true in terms of what thoughts that I had initially. I've tried converting them into an episode. One of the interesting things I love doing is bursting myths, and I love just taking the thumb rules down, and I want to learn more actually. So if you remember, if you recall, I just spoke of the idea of podcast literally came when I was about to get into a deep sleep. Why did that happen? That I got that idea at that time. So I researched why that happens, and if you notice, there's this episode on brainwaves for learning and creativity. So literally, when your brain is resting, you've seen someone in the hospital, right? The sinusoidal waves that happen, right? That's basically the theta waves when you're about to rest, and that's the most creative your mind is at. It happens when you are in a shower. It happens when you're watching TV. It happens when you're just about to get into a sleep. Alpha and theta waves. It is very interesting the way your mind works. You are not even aware. In fact, some of your best ideas would come about when you are in shower or just about to hit bed, right? Many inventions across history have happened because, example, and I talk about that in the episode also. I take a thought, the Einstein or some more people who take a thought, they know they have a thought and they go in a 20-minute nap or a sleep, and by the time they come out, they know there is a solution to it. And how did they do that? They just kept a stone, so they know that if they're in deep sleep, the stone would fall, and they would have they know that they should not get into a deep sleep. Amazing fact. And like I said, I was curious about that. I found this and I thought it should be out. So that these were brain functions, right? Power nap, another episode which is loved by many. By the way, we are from Pune. We know that ek te char banda manje banda. So we know that for a fact. But there is a science behind that as well. How does it work during pandemic? How should you literally, and why should you sleep for 20 minutes minimum? There is huge. Anupam, I'm sorry if you get a lot of people snoring away during the day, but it's for good. It's for good. So, but the amount of work that happens in the 20 minutes is amazing. Did you know that your brain has an auto mechanism to get the clutter out, basically the recycle bin? That only happens when you sleep. Let that sink in. So if you're working too much and have lesser time to sleep, that means you're not cleaning your own brain. You need to do that. Okay? A power nap has amazing, huge benefits. Anyways, I can go about talking about every episode, and I'll be so enthusiastic about it as well. Then there is, what do you wake up to? That's something very recent. Basically, the alarm sounds. Why alarm sounds are so important? Why is that beep beep not so good? Basically, again, brain wiring. If you're doing the regular ta-ta-ta-ta and waking up to that, it's irritating. That means you're not at peace when you wake up. But at the same time, if you replace it with something that you like, a song that you like, or a tune that is melodic, you will have rest of the day amazing, and you'll be able to do more things. But there is more to it, so definitely listen to that. I like breaking myths. The most famous myth of right brain versus left brain, illusion of learning itself. You tell me a topic. In fact, I'll just give you some insight of what I mean by that. Another word which is used in my profession is pedagogy. Pedagogy is actually used for kids. For adults, the learning theory is actually called andragogy, which is not a commonly known fact, right? Attention span myth. Oh, goldfish, right? Attention span myth. Goldfish typically is associated with it. In fact, there are scientists studying the memory of goldfish. We are in a time where we consume a narco series. Chacha Vidayak hai, or a Suit series which is so long on Netflix, and cut to we try to create content which is digestible and consumable within 30 seconds or 2 minutes. It is not right. Okay, so attention span actually is a myth. Attention spans are controlled by how interesting is the content, one, and the motivation by the individual. How motivated is that individual? How do you keep him motivated is another story. So there is nothing called as attention span. Actually, it's a myth. It's completely on what motivates him to be there. Example I will give you. If there is an email from Anupam that, be here for the meeting at 11 o'clock, okay, there are chances that 80% will respond and be there. If Anupam says an email that be here at 11 o'clock, we want to talk about the next year's appraisal or the performance management, 100% attendance. The messaging, there's motivation in that, right? So again, Anupam, I'm doing so much damage. I have no clue. But anything that goes well in this session is because of Stephen, and anything goes bad is also because of him. So please hold him responsible. I'll just take 30 seconds for the illusion of learning. Okay. And this happens a lot. And we are adults, right? All 86 of us. I at least treat you as an adult, except for me. We like nodding heads, right? We say, yeah, nice. I like that. And this happens a lot. Adults have tendency of acknowledging and nodding because it is presented really well. That doesn't mean that you have learnt it. Okay. If you've learnt it, you will be able to use that information. So many a times this happens that you understand the information really well. That doesn't mean you have learnt it. Learning would require you to go back and use that or teach that to someone. And that's the illusion of learning that I talk about. Anyways, like I said, I can go on every topic. These are something that I have done, I have recorded. More than happy to go about. Rote learning is a total myth, but it's also important at times, by the way. Rote learning is ratta lagana, right? Karta ne karam ko karan. In fact, that's how I started the episode as well. And it's crazy because we've been taught in the fashion, and especially I'm sure a lot of engineers in the room as well, we are taught to learn it and vomit it out on the paper. However, the challenge is it doesn't work. By the way, I'm not an engineer, but I work in an organization which is fully, every second person, actually not every second, I would be the only known non-engineer in that. If you're able to use something in terms of learning and the various aspects around it, then and you are able to apply, then it doesn't matter how you learn it. Ratta lagana is very important when you are growing up, because example, I'll tell you the flip side. Do you know that the old Indian artifacts, Upanishads and many Vedas that were written, they didn't have a mechanism to get the right sense of the meaning for the longest time. So those were only told, and that was not possible through learning. That was only possible through rote method. So there is evidence that only past generations till some time only by words. So someone had to really remember that. That's the importance. So that's where exactly rote learning is required. Where it is not required, cut to now, you can read and wrote a Gita, Bible, Quran, everything, but that's just ratta lagaing, right? So you won't be able to emulate the same message, and that's so rote learning in itself is an oxymoron. Rote is different, and learning is totally different. Okay, superb. Let's go to the next. Like I said, I'm more than happy to do this, and we can sit here for many hours together, talk about, and I can talk about many new episodes also. What I learned, this is what I wanted to tell you that, I'm not sure if you're interested in knowing this, but like I said, I made the slide and I have the control and you guys are not talking, I'm fine. The biggest advice came from a friend who said that any podcast you start, don't get into the how part. You will learn, you'll get a validation from the audience. Get the content out. Thankfully, the trait that I have, anything that I do, anything. Example, even if I clean the house, I am 100% sure I will be very consistent at it. Okay. How clean the house will be is debatable. As per my wife and me, the norms and quality checks could be different, but I will improve every time I find the mistake. So that's the thing about me. I like being consistent, right? So that is one thing I ensure there's a discipline to it. That means every Friday to every Friday. If you're not able to do it, get an announcement out. So get the content out, be consistent about it. I realized one big insight that I had is when you create something like a podcast, like a painting, like a music, anything that you create, you understand that there are people who will have different thoughts about creation in itself, and you accept that a lot. So your mind opens to new things. Example, there could be a genre of music that you don't like. Let's say a lot of people don't like Gully Boy and the rap culture. But if you yourself create something, then you understand, okay, where is he coming from? You have different questions that you ask. You simply don't have a like or a dislike. No, it's not binary. You in fact think of, okay, where is he coming from? Why is this piece here? You think about those things and you have different questions. So that I learned about myself. My mind is open to many different point of views. One of the most important thing, and I love using this at work all the time, that is keep improvising and keep that improvisation for everything that you do. So while I present these slides, this is not the first time I'm talking about this. I ensured that I had a first draft on Tuesday. I rehearsed it. I knew my messaging and I kept improvising, right? So what you are able to witness, and by the way, while I was doing this, there were many things I didn't even practice, right? So that's the kind of improvisation that I'm talking about. You should know the central message and revolve around. And most important, I did an episode on it, that is keeping at it. Keep at it. Trust your work. If you're putting heart and soul, trust it. Again, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that it's not a revenue generating, but I get a huge amount of gratification when someone tells me that this was really nice. I am the happiest. Someone comes, likes, I'm the happiest. By the way, that day, I was just at the grocery and my dog's vet came to me and said that, hey, you know what? I'm listening to your podcast. It's amazing. You've done so many episodes. I have subscribed to it. I listen to it every episode that you get it out. I listen to it. That was the first huge moment for me that, you know what? That's amazing. Thank you so much. So these validations are very helpful. And then I thank myself that, I thank myself again. Is that I could found an outlet of doing something like this. So very interesting for me, and thankfully it has helped a few people as well. So those were my learning. Right. Let's go to the next one, and I think that is it. So as I leave you, just listen to the episode if you've not. Share it on your social media or wherever you can. Review and rate wherever possible. And follow the Relearning Podcast. Follow me. I'm Prashant Uttekar on most things, and the Curious Learner on Instagram. And subscribe it wherever possible. I have left no scope for anyone else to talk. So how am I doing on time, Stephen?
Good. We have 3 minutes and soon an hour. I think so I think 3 minutes for questions. Maybe you can extend it a little.
I'm okay with it to extend it. I'm fine.
If the questions are, good and it puts Prashant on the spot, I'm all in for it.
Let's go for it. I love those questions. All right, please. I have spoken enough, and please ask your questions. Comment if you like it. The chat is all yours.
Okay.
Collective resounding no.
I have a question. Okay, and it goes from the teaching side of it. So I believe teaching and communication go very well hand in hand, and the way you communicate with people is super important when you're teaching them something. So I want to understand: is there a metric that we could use to find out if you're teaching right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. In fact, there are many even exist today. So one of the metric, unfortunately, is that how the kid did. or the students did, right? So when you're saying teaching, I have very strong views about teaching, training, and facilitating. So when you say teaching, a teacher would be someone who is the source of knowledge. He's the control of the class, and he's emulating something. Basically, like I said in the episode, also he's basically getting the parda out and showing you something which you've not seen.
Yeah.
So of course, there are so many. In fact, the recent schools have such a fantastic way of checking that after every session, they want the kid to do things on their own. Example, the other day I was in Miraya's class, my daughter's class. They asked them to pack the bag, right? And they checked with us if she did it afterwards as well. That's amazing, because this is the first time they're seeing something like this from the teacher and they emulate. So there are metrics already in place.
Yeah.
But again, tell me if the context is right for you, because that's in my mind as teacher.
No, it's perfectly right, because it's a question actually not from me, from my mom, because she runs a coaching, and I told her this is what I was listening to, and she was forced to listen to it from the other room, and then she's like, okay, tell me something, if then
See,
results and tests.
First things, I will always side by her, because she makes amazing food. So that's a given. So whatever you say is wrong, she's right.
Yeah. I think Abhinav has a question with that.
How can we extend the concept of relearning to professional work environment? You don't. It's a very individual thing, honestly. You can get it in your learning and development curriculum. Go ahead and do that. Abhinav, it's more like, I'll give you a context. Let me do that. I hire people in my team. I'm a training and development professional. Right? I hire people in my team who are non-trainers also, which means they have to go back to basics. Let's say if there's a subject matter expert in networking, he joins my team, so he's already an expert in the functional knowledge of networking. Now he has to relearn the effort. Why? He doesn't have to show his expertise. He has to dissect, slice and dice that information, make it easy, and present. Different skill. Even if it's networking, it's a very different skill. So that's the space I provide in terms of relearn this from a facilitator's point of view. So as an organization, if you are flexible to give it openness for people to try out new things, that itself is a huge relearning. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, Anupam, I agree. I've been eating that for quite some time. I'm just checking chat. There's no context to Abhinav's answer. But yeah, Abhinav, I hope that helps.
Yes, Prashant, absolutely. So my primary question was that when we spoke about relearning, you spoke about it in a like more of a personal context, right? Like how you relearned some stuff, or how we all shared our findings during the lockdown, that we try to engage in new things or try new things in terms of right. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I believe you explained it pretty well, that you do not enforce, or you do not try to do this at an organization level. You cannot simply. It is more of an. It depends more up to the individual.
Yeah.
I also have one more follow-up question.
Sure.
Do you think age plays a role in how flexible someone is in terms of relearning?
I can give you tons of examples, but the simple answer is no. The age doesn't play a role in this. Kids love playing. That's easy. What difficult is as you grow adult. And why I'm giving this example, I'm smiling about it. My mother-in-law is in the next room, and we just celebrated her 60th birthday. And very recently, like 2 years or 1 year back, she's become a naturopathy doctor at this age, and she's still studying some more things. There is no age, and there are many examples around you. Look around you. Forget my mother-in-law or me. Look at your own parents. How were they able to navigate the idea of staying in the same house, bringing kids up, and during pandemic doing things which probably they have not done for quite some time? Check the inspiration within you, around you also. There's huge. There is no age limit, honestly, and scientifically also there is no age limit. By the way, I mean there are studies on it.
All right.
Yeah.
So regarding the pandemic situation, I believe it was more like forced upon us, and we had to adapt. But yeah, I do believe the notion that age should not play a factor.
Never.
In an
Horses for courses, my man. So if pandemic wasn't, the podcast wouldn't have existed, and trust me, it wouldn't have. I was looking out for some other avenues. So there have been great things that have happened. So I thank the pandemic in a very different way. But yeah, and look at yourself, man. You were able to cook that roti sabzi. No, you wouldn't have known about that. About yourself. Yeah. So thanks. Anupam says, how can the failure and learning environment be made better? Amazing. Good question. Very long answer and very short answer as well. 2 answers I have. You are already doing it, Anupam, honestly. And that's what the team is emulating. So thank you. Just keep at it. That's the short answer. Because if so many people say that and it's there on your vision board and people to see, that means you are already doing it. How do you make a test lab, make a process which will ensure that no idea dies off? Which means there could be a board, as simple as this. I mean, things that are doable, I will always say. Simple board, you don't need to write your name. If you do, even better, throw an idea. Get a team to brainstorm around it. Don't let any idea die. When should an idea be rejected is in the implementation. That means it can be only prioritized. If it comes in a priority for 3 times consecutively, that means it's not something that we should focus on. But there will be many which will come in the priority and change your point of view. Try an idea, and I'm sure you do it better than anyone, that do a test and all that. But it all starts with a small little idea. And even for smaller things, I'm not even talking about IRO's technology or the amazing work that you do, that you always do. It could be very simple office processes. Example, entering and exiting the office. Very, very simple things. If you start from that, that's where from there you can get into the complexity of things. And encourage failures. Tata is doing an amazing thing in something called as a reward for We Tried It, where they showcase ideas where they tried, they failed. There's an award for it. Amazing. It's huge. And even if it's a small thing, it makes a huge difference for individuals as well. I mean, yeah, thanks, Anupam. Great question. I am so happy that it's 6 minutes over and 80 people are still there. Please ask. I have time. If you want to praise me, go right ahead. I love that.
Yeah. So I want to understand one thing. Right from our childhood, our learning has been connected with a specific thing. Something like, if you will learn, if you will get a degree, you will get a good job.
Yes.
When we move ahead to the organization, it has been again connected to some sort of probably monetary reward system or career-wise reward system. So if you will do this certification, you will get a reward. You will be eligible for the promotion, or probably you will get additional point at the time of appraisal or something. But in this case, probably soft skill is a wrong term, but we miss out learning on those life skill. I like to use the frame life skills here. So one thing I would like to understand, how to keep ourselves motivated to acquire life skill, A, and B, is it really necessary to acquire those life skill apart from your professional learning?
Are you saying life skill or human skills?
Human skills, probably.
Yeah, because life skills would be very different. Life skills would be doing things that we need to do to survive. Extremely important, because I'll give you one small insight. Again, Anupam, I'm sorry if people are coming with a lot of complaints to you, hold Stephen responsible. So the notion of getting motivation in terms of money and certification is really great, because it lets people move. As per me, there should be 2 metrics, and this is what I'm trying even where I work, and I have worked before as well. There are 2 metrics. One is the human skills factor, and second is the functional skill. Functional skill, they're easy, you know it. Saurabh, you just explained it, the entire thing. There's a motivation, there's a thing you do, and it's very simple and logical. What we often don't do is check the human skill side, which means, where is my team member in the trust quotient? Where is he on the emotional quotient, right? Many a times, organizations fail because they promote the toxic behavior of functional ability. which is good. At the same time, if he's not a team player, if he's not a trustworthy team member, if he's not good on his human skills, you are promoting toxicity, right? And that organization is setting up for failure. At the same time, there are some brilliant organizations who keep in check, and this is in their culture, to promote human skills, to promote these are the typical organizations who work for careers and not for definitely for revenue, but they focus on individuals as well, individual development as well. In my opinion, these are the most important things, that is human skills or the development of an individual. Functional skills can be learned. If you are able to give a space to develop human skills, it's an amazing avenue. People, you don't need to buy loyalty. They will be loyal to you by default. So that's my take, Saurabh. I hope that helps. And Anupam, again, this is the fourth or fifth, sorry.
Any specific methods you would like to say, just to keep motivated, or just to make sure that we are on the right path, or we are not missing any opportunity to learn the human skills?
Oh, that is, there are two answers to it. One is, of course, you assess yourself individually, and there are various tools which are available free in terms of where are you right now and where do you want to go. So at an organizational level, it is extremely important. Again, I'm talking organization, okay, and I'll give you a personal answer as well. Organizational level, it is extremely important for everyone to know where are we in the skill development and the human skills part, because I always growing, right? If you are able to do it now, the people will grow with you, not only functionally, most importantly behavior as well. And when that happens, I drifted in the growth part. There are various tools for organizational development as well. And in fact, coincidentally, I was having the same conversation with Stephen the other day, that how does it work? And there are agencies who can do it. There are tools to do it. Individually, if you want to do it, there is a huge scope. Individually, you should know about how example, communication skills, small topic, huge topic. Negotiation skills in sales, consultative selling. There are huge topics. So as an organization and an individual, what you should always do is a simple thing called as SWOT. SWOT, strength, weakness, threat and opportunity. Do it for yourself first. As an activity, Stephen, Anupam, I'm sure you do know this or drive this activity. First, always do it for individuals. That is, how do I perceive me? My strengths are, let's say, communication. My opportunities, I will always look for something. Example, in hosting, I will look for bigger things and bigger brands. Threats would be someone doing the similar podcast, but also it's an opportunity. So it could be mixed. When you do individually, you understand the concept of SWOT, then take it to the organization level. Prashant contributing to the organization in the SWOT matrix. And it's very simple. And I'm sure Saurabh, you already know about this. That SWOT will help you understand what are some skills that you need to work on to become much better individually as well as contributing to the organization.
Prashant, before we continue, we have to take a rain check. I'll call 12:25 as a hard stop. We have a meeting at 12:30. So we have Yogesh's and Nipun's question on board.
Sure.
We can
as relearning, I'll take it. Yogesh is saying, as relearning is important, what is your opinion about unlearning? My opinion doesn't matter. Unlearning is a way of life. My take on this is unlearning is a way of life. You cannot unlearn everything, by the way. You know that? I'll give you an example. Learn a cycle, forget about it, cut to 20 years, you'll still know how to cycle.
Correct.
Okay,
but
one
there are some things which we want to unlearn. So
example.
For example, nowadays kids are learning, watching videos on YouTube. Okay, so they themselves will learn that. So my daughter is 3 years old actually, and she started watching YouTube videos.
Okay.
Herself. Okay, without.
Yeah. I know.
So
she will tell you things which you don't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that is why sometimes we learn.
Oh, so don't change it. Okay. That's very simple. I have done this. Don't change the mode. if she's able to navigate, that's fascinating because she knows how to use icons, which is amazing. That's how kids learn with symbols. Just change the context, which means let the screen be, but just change it to YouTube Kids. That's the only option she gets. And YouTube Kids has amazing content. I use it because I little know. So don't change the method. Change what is being seen on the screen.
Okay.
That's easy. That's an easy one. I thought you had a question related to corporate unlearning or individuals. Individuals, we don't unlearn.
Sometimes in corporate, maybe in maybe techie guys maybe know better than me actually. Sometimes we learn the code to code maybe wrong way, and they continue with the same thing. I don't know about.
That's muscle memory. Oh, I have an episode on that also. That's muscle memory that you build, and that's how your brain is wired. It's very difficult, but it's not impossible. So I'll give you an example, and everyone on the chat do this. If I say the word apple, what comes to your mind? Steve Jobs, phone.
Doctor.
Steve Jobs, the fruit. Thank you. Dr. Mac, red fruit. Health. Very nice. Original sin. Yes, apple. A for apple. Fruit. Thanks. So we agree that apple is no longer a fruit. Keeping the doctor away, Steve Jobs, Apple, the product, the brand. Did you know that Apple is also name of an individual famous, who's Spider-Man's wife in Spider-Man 1? Gwyneth Paltrow, right? And with the Coldplay singer, Chris, they had a daughter and they named her Apple. Okay, now what I just did is I implemented an idea in your head. Which means next time when you talk about Apple, you will have this one, that Apple is name of a girl from this lady from Spider-Man and this singer from Coldplay. You know this, right? Next time you will use this whenever the word Apple comes to you. That's how you unlearn and change the pattern of your brain. Now this will become your memory because this is unusual. That's what I do at the podcast and in general in life also. I try to change the thinking. Now, for someone who has learned that coding for the longest time and he's making the same thing, there is no way to unlearn, but only improvise or get a set of information which is probably I don't know anything. I don't know Q about coding. So if I'm making sense, agree. If I'm not making sense, even agree more because I don't know. But yeah, that's what I can talk about muscle memory. That's something that I know. Hope that's helpful. And thanks for the responses, guys. I'm so glad you're still there and listening to me. Next one is Anupam said the other day my daughter told me that there are multiple galaxies and the aliens in other. I have complete faith and I'll side with your daughter Anupam. She is absolutely right. I'm a huge believer of aliens. Huge. Nipun says, what I believe is you need motivation to do things. You doing something wrong. Motivation to do things. You doing something wrong. Motivation. It works. Yeah. That. By the way, we are animals, right? I just did a course from Duke University on dogs. It was about cognition and dog cognition and also humans. We are still animals. We thrive by motivation. Thankfully, we are evolved that our only motivation is not food, except for Stephen and me. Our motivation is clearly food. Now that's the point I was coming to. My motivation, huge motivation, is to play basketball. I do anything and everything to make that Sunday morning time. And when I do that, I forget the world. I'm just in the zone, in Sheldon's words. I'm in the zone. So when I said things to do for your soul, check things which will let you forget everything else and you are in your zone. And that's podcast for me. That's playing basketball. That's playing with my dog and playing with my daughter. So that is the motivation that I would go with. That is the motivation that keeps me going, right? But is that the question? Because I can simply go on. Okay, Nipun is not saying anything. So, photography for me. Yeah, there you go. You just get into the zone, right? Right. Any other comments? Any other things that we can talk about? I'm so glad that everyone is sharing. That's the most fundamental thing that humans can do, and you're doing it. Thank you.
Any other question, guys?
Yeah, Prashant, Ashish, I just had one question more on the podcast
Sure.
factor. So, say someone wants to start a podcast, right? And the immediate people you're going to tell is the ones in your social media, right? And this is more from maybe a marketing perspective, and I don't know too much about it. So my question is that do your podcast listeners grow? Like, do they grow more than just your friend circle? And if you want them to grow like to a more wider audience, how would you do it?
You want a management answer or personal answer?
A personal, to be honest.
I never thought about it, Ashish. So, the good part is it does grow.
Okay.
If you talk about things that matter to you, and it should be on a podcast, the voice gets the intent. The voice gets the authenticity of things. I could simply just read out stuff; it will not make sense. And it definitely grows. In fact, you'll be surprised. The audio. I suddenly had a spike of listeners from Ukraine. Then you get listeners from Ireland. It's amazing the way things work out. I recently did a chat with this friend from Germany, whom we worked before, and there was another spike in the UK area. So it's just amazing the way it works. So my suggestion is that वो बोलते हैं ना कि 10वीं में जाने के बाद 9th का सिलेबस इजी हो जाता है, तो मैं भी अभी 10वीं में आ गया हूँ with my doing little episodes. My suggestion is very simple. Just get the content out. Don't worry about your audience. Every conversation is a podcast in making, and every episode will get its own audience. Every episode, not even podcast. Every episode gets its own audience. Example I will give you. The other day, Stephen called me early morning just to tell me that how much he loved an episode, and he was listening to it while driving. So he stopped. He told me how he liked it, and he had listened to every episode, by the way, till then, and that was huge for me. Most important, it did something to Stephen. Now imagine he's listened to many, and this one he liked a lot. That's the audience I'm talking about. Every episode finds its audience. Don't worry about promoting and all those things come to you, and there are many templates now to go about it. But just get the content, prepare the content, be confident about it. If you feel about it, talk about it. It will find its audience.
Cool. Thank you.
Very well said, Prashant. Guys, we are hard bent on time. I think we have a lot of questions for Prashant. We'll put it down this way. I'll share. I've already shared a podcast link. Okay, you can go and listen to it, and also comment him so that he keeps getting out good content.
Yeah.
Brilliant things, Prashant. Absolutely loved it, and we should so get a T-shirt made saying "Ask so you can explain," and it's a good way to go with. And brilliant. I mean, don't nod, understand to learn. Beautiful things.
Thank you.
Poured out of your heart, and I think we picked up all the silent messaging that was there. Everyone picked up in their own way, I'm sure. And
I hope so.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you for sharing your time and your experience with us. It was quite heartfelt. And all the guys from IRO, I thank you all also. Your response is what motivates us to get good leaders talking about stuff, and you're learning from it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. And it's a pleasure, as always, talking to you, Stephen, and meeting the larger team. Anupam, thank you so much for active participation. It's huge for me. It's just another validation that I should keep doing it. And huge thanks to everyone who contributed. A lot of people came and left and came back. I noticed that as well. Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. And keep listening to podcasts in general, and just keep learning, man. Simple things. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prashant. It was amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you.